In 2025, a romantic hot air balloon ride in Brazil turned into a terrifying mid-air crematorium. Faced with a burning balloon and a massive drop, passengers had to choose between jumping to survive or waiting to die. Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. Today, I am going to share a heartbreaking tragedy where a seemingly perfect birthday gift ended in an unimaginable nightmare. Our story takes place in Praia Grande, a city in southern Brazil known as the local capital of hot air ballooning. Because of its stunning landscapes, dozens of balloon tour companies operated there. One of them was a small business called Getaway Tour Service, which had just over 10 employees. The main boss, Ivan, handled management and sales, while the co-owner, Alves, was the company's only pilot. Despite being small, they were highly competitive. While other companies charged $135 per flight, Getaway charged only $105, and they even provided free snacks, coffee, and a bottle of champagne after landing. Because of this good and cheap reputation, their business was booming. On June 21, 2025, they received a massive booking of over 40 people, split into 2 flights. But right before takeoff, a critical warning was completely ignored. The first flight was scheduled for 6:30 a.m. to see the sunrise over the Atlantic Ocean, and the second was at 8:30 a.m. to view the magnificent canyons and rainforests. Around 6 a.m., a young logistics worker named João was inspecting the balloon when he discovered a severe problem. The rubber O-ring on the backup burner's gas valve was damaged and leaking gas. Panicked, João rushed into Alves's office while the pilot was briefing the passengers. João urged him to cancel the flight, warning that the balloon could explode. But Alves, unwilling to lose a large group of paying customers, dismissed him. He walked out, haphazardly wrapped the leaking valve with 3 layers of tape, and told João to shut up and leave so the customers wouldn't hear and cancel their tickets. The 6:30 a.m. flight took off and returned safely without incident. However, when it was time for the 8:30 a.m. flight, the wind suddenly picked up to 7.8 meters per second. According to aviation regulations, commercial passenger flights must be grounded if wind speeds exceed 5 meters per second. They waited until 9 a.m., and the passengers grew impatient, threatening to cancel and demand refunds. Unwilling to lose the money, Alves made a fatal decision and announced they were taking off. Among the passengers in this second group was a young woman in her early 20s named Luana. That exact day was her father's 52nd birthday. She had spent a month planning this surprise, booking the affordable Getaway balloon ride so they could celebrate his birthday at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Ironically, her family was originally scheduled for the safer 6:30 a.m. flight, but her father specifically requested to swap to the 8:30 a.m. slot because he preferred seeing the canyons over the sunrise. He never knew this simple swap would cost them their lives. They boarded a massive Getaway hot air balloon, 22 meters in diameter, carrying a 6-meter basket, 2 burners, and 2 huge liquid propane tanks. At 9:28 a.m., Alves ignited the main burner, shooting a massive blue flame upward. The balloon ascended rapidly at a speed of 4 to 5 meters per second. In just over a minute, they reached 270 meters. Luana was terrified of the height, but her father was thrilled, pointing at the vast Atlantic Ocean and the beautiful green rainforest below. They eventually climbed to about 600 or 700 meters in the air, roughly the height of a 200-story building. As they admired the breathtaking view, someone suddenly screamed. Sparks were raining down from the giant balloon envelope above them. Everyone looked up and saw fire breaking out inside the massive canopy. Alves's face instantly turned pale. He yelled for everyone to hold on, grabbed the parachute valve cord, and pulled it down with all his might to forcefully release the hot air and initiate an emergency rapid descent. As they plummeted, a burning piece of debris fell directly onto a man's head, setting his hair on fire. Absolute panic erupted. Passengers screamed and rushed to one side of the basket, causing it to tilt dangerously. Alves stomped his feet, screaming at them to spread out before the basket flipped over. Just as they balanced the basket, another fire flared up, this time terrifyingly close to the 2 giant propane tanks. If the fire reached the tanks, the entire balloon would explode. Alves let go of the descent cord to try and extinguish the fire, but the moment he released it, the balloon shot back up. He quickly grabbed the cord again to prevent them from losing control entirely. Holding the cord, he desperately begged the passengers to put out the fire near the tanks. Despite the imminent threat of an explosion, no one moved. It was a classic bystander effect, where everyone waited for someone else to step up and save them. Finally, Luana broke the paralysis. She grabbed the fire extinguisher and aimed it at the flames, but after just 2 pathetic sprays, it was completely empty. Without hesitation, she ripped off her jacket and started frantically beating the flames. Seeing his daughter's bravery, her father joined in, followed by 5 or 6 others. Together, they managed to extinguish the immediate fire. As they fought the flames, the balloon descended rapidly, and they could soon see the frantic crowd gathering on the ground below. When they were about 3 to 4 meters above the ground, Alves shouted the order to jump. Total chaos ensued. Any sense of etiquette vanished as people shoved each other to get out. A young man holding a child angrily yelled at the crowd to let women, children, and the elderly go first. People began leaping from the basket like dumplings falling into a pot, quickly being pulled away by the people on the ground so they wouldn't be crushed by the next jumper. But just as safety seemed within reach, a deadly twist occurred. At the lower altitude, the thicker oxygen levels caused the smoldering fire inside the envelope to violently reignite, engulfing half the balloon. As passengers jumped, the basket became significantly lighter. The upward lift became so overwhelmingly strong that the cord ripped right out of Alves's hands. The exhaust valve snapped shut, and the balloon rocketed back into the sky with 10 people still trapped inside. Knowing he couldn't control it anymore, Alves abandoned ship and jumped to the ground. As he rolled over, he saw Luana being shoved out of the ascending basket by her father. She survived, weeping hysterically on the ground as she watched her parents ascend into the burning sky. The balloon shot up another few meters, prompting 5 or 6 more terrified people to jump, resulting in broken bones and severe injuries. The balloon then rapidly climbed past 30 meters, with 8 people left inside. 4 of them jumped out of pure desperation, falling to their deaths. The remaining 4, including Luana's parents, perished as the fully engulfed balloon finally crashed into an empty field. In the end, this preventable disaster claimed 8 lives and injured 13 others, making it the deadliest hot air balloon crash since 2016. Investigators later found that the fire extinguisher on board had long been expired. The tragedy was entirely caused by the leaking valve Alves had ignored and taped up, which ignited from the main burner. Outrageously, the initial court prosecutor ruled the incident an unforeseeable accident and dropped all criminal charges against Fayue and Alves. Public fury and appeals from the victims' families led to the prosecutor's dismissal in late 2025. A new prosecutor reopened the case, but as of today, there is still no final verdict. Luana will likely spend the rest of her life in torment, haunted by the fact that a birthday surprise for her father ended in the tragic loss of both her parents, all because a company decided to ignore a tiny rubber ring to save a few dollars.